Hey everybody, it's Jenna. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for watching. Today we are going to talk about oil pulling. Okay, oil pulling, what is it? Is it worth doing? Does it work? Things like that, okay? So, oil pulling is when you put oil in your mouth and you swish it around for about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, and it is supposed to pull out the gunk and the germs from your teeth, okay? Now, I have not personally done scientific evidence type stuff to see if it works. There's a lot of that out there, a lot of opinions about it. I'm just going to talk about my experience with oil pulling. I've tried it a few different times, and I have a few different thoughts on oil pulling, okay? So, let's talk about that. So first of all, oil pulling, you use different types of oils, and probably one of the best ones is sesame oil. And I think that's because of the viscosity of the oil and also the nutrients that are in it and the antibacterial properties of it. Sesame oil does have a stronger taste though, and it's a little bit more expensive. So if you don't like the taste, concentrated in your mouth, like with cooking, you use a little bit of this and it goes a long way. But if you don't want that concentrated in your mouth, I probably wouldn't choose this oil, but it is one of the better ones to use, okay? You can also use olive oil. That's one that I've done before. Coconut oil also is really good. Coconut oil is a thinner oil, and so it's gonna feel a little bit more closer to water in your mouth. Not quite, but it is a solid at room temperature. But once you put it in your mouth, when it heats up past 70 something degrees, it actually melts. So your body temperature melts it, and then it's really thin. It's like the consistency of water, pretty much. Almost. Not quite. But anyway, so there's a few different oils. It probably really doesn't matter as long as it's a good oil that is going to be able to go through your teeth. Okay, now as far as the quality of the oils, I usually pay close attention to the quality of the foods that I buy. As far as the quality of the oils, I personally don't feel like you would need to go out and buy organic, super expensive oils because you're not really ingesting them, you're not absorbing them that much really at all. You're swishing them through your mouth, and by the time you're done, it's going to be mixed with your spit and germs and stuff, and you just spit it out, okay? So you're not ingesting it. So personally, I would just pick what type of oil you want to try, or try a new one or whatever, and don't worry about the quality. I would personally find the cheapest one you can find. These ones are not that expensive, okay? And I'll put a few links for different oils below. Like I said, sesame oil can tend to be on the more expensive side, depending on where you live, what kind of store you shop at. I'll put a relatively inexpensive one below that I found online, and that will save you a shopping trip if it's hard to find for you at all. So, oil pulling, basically, like I said before, you're going to take the oil, I usually start with like a teaspoon, not very much, okay? You're going to feel like you don't have much in your mouth, but you're going to take about a teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon and a half or two, depending on, you'll figure it out as you go, right? But you don't start with that much, because you put it in your mouth, and then you just start pulling it through your teeth. You're not swishing, you're not like vigorously, swishing really hard, because you're going to do it you're going to work your way up to about 15 minutes, okay? That's what I do. I think you can do it longer. I'd say a minimum of 10 minutes to get the good results. But you're going to put it in your mouth and you're going to pull it through your teeth. So it's kind of a slow process. Not super slow, but And you're going to do it for 15 minutes. The reason why you only use a small amount of oil is because by the time you are done, you're going to have saliva built up in there. So you probably double the amount of liquid that's in your mouth. It's not all oil anymore. And it gets kind of gross looking, milky-ish by the time you spit it out. Okay, so you do that 10-15 minutes, you spit it out. I would be very careful depending on your plumbing. I prefer not to send it down the drain because oil will eventually build up on the pipes and it can cause clogs, and you don't want that in your sewer system, okay? I like to spit it out outside. If you have facilities where you can do that, that would be the best option. But, you know, if you have no choice and you dump it down your drain, I would just once a week or so as you're doing it, maybe put some drain cleaner down there too to kind of eat through that. So a lot of people, I've read a lot of reviews and studied a lot about oil pulling. A lot of people don't think it works that well. They've had mixed feelings about it. One of the most common things I think people don't understand is that oil pulling is not just a one and done type thing. To be effective, you should do it for about a month straight, okay? So you're going to start to feel a little bit different after a week or two, maybe 3. It's not like the Listerine or the really strong stuff that goes in and kills everything, okay? This is very gentle, and so it takes a little bit longer. So what I do is every few months, maybe every 3 or 4 months, I spend a month, and for that month, we'll do oil pulling, okay? And if you use sesame oil, and this is a 6-ounce jar, I go through about 1.5 or 2 of these a month. Obviously, you wouldn't go through this whole thing if you use coconut oil, whatever oil you're using. But you need to spend some time doing it because it's a more gentle thing. And it's really good, actually, if you have a lot of dental work, if you have a lot of caps, especially, or anything that is fake on top of your teeth. So like crowns, caps, veneers, anything like that, because eventually germs can live under there and fester, and toothbrushes and Listerine and anything like that, you can't get those out from under there, okay? So oil pulling helps with that because the suction pulls that out of your teeth over time, okay? Now, like I said, I have not done a lot of scientific studies on this. I only have my own personal experience, but what I do know is that every time I do this, after 2 or 3, 4 weeks, my teeth feel smoother, okay? You can always feel when you're getting between dental checkups, you can always tell when you're getting a buildup of plaque or whatever on your teeth. I know that when I do this, it feels smoother, so I can feel that going away. So it's doing something, okay? And I used to have really bad dental health. I have a lot of fillings. I do have caps. Think crowns, things like that. And so after I started doing stuff like this, I did do some other things, but after I started using oil pulling and changing my diet and using different toothpastes, the dentist noticed the difference in my health. So I think it's a cumulative thing. I don't think that you would be able to have huge cavities and just do oil pulling and cure it. I think it's cumulative efforts of many different things, okay? So dental health, it's very important to watch the food you eat, okay? Refined sugars especially, they feed that bad gut bacteria, and your whole digestive system is connected from your mouth all the way through your stomach, your intestines, all the way out the other end, okay? So what is going on and living in your stomach is affecting what's in your mouth, okay? So anything that's going to feed that bad gut bacteria, you want to get rid of. So number 1, refined sugars, even cut back on fruit if you've got bacterial overgrowth, and that's like a whole different discussion how to fix that, but what you eat is very important. Also, the type of toothpaste you use and things like that can make a huge difference. I personally don't like traditional toothpaste. Fluoride is one thing I like to avoid, but also I like to get away from the cleansers in typical toothpaste, and glycerin is one of them, and that is a very thick soap, and it actually coats your teeth, okay? Now, what not many people realize is that our teeth are not just a solid, like, countertop, like a hard surface. They actually are full of microscopic little tubules, and that's how our body can keep the bacteria and keep them alive, and there's actually blood vessels and things in there. And so if you're putting a thick coating of toothpaste glycerin on your teeth, it actually can clog those up, and it stops the good bacteria and saliva from getting into your teeth to kill the bad germs that would hide in there. So it's a cumulative effort. Those other things I'll do other videos on later, but oil pulling is one that can really help with your dental health, okay? in my experience, I feel like it's made a big difference. And I know cumulatively with all the things I've done, the dentist has noticed a difference. So there's one for you. Oil pulling. Is it worth it? Okay, I would suggest just trying it, see for yourself. It's not going to hurt you. It's not like you're using chemicals. It's just oil that you'd be eating anyway, and you're not even eating it. So it's not like you can go wrong just giving it a try. If you have ever done oil pulling, if you have any comments on it, please let me know below. I am always curious to hear what your experiences are. And if you liked this video, hopefully you found it helpful. But if you liked it, go ahead, like, subscribe, click the little bell. My channel is about natural lifestyle tips and products, things like that. So go ahead, check out the channel, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye! Okay, so you would take about a teaspoon. I just dump it right in. Mm-hmm.